For those of you who don't know, I'm David. It's my pleasure to highlight some of our upcoming events. Join Reverend Sheila this afternoon if you're interested in taking the step of joining our Unity community as a member, or if you are just interested in exploring Unity teaching and history. Excuse me. Our volunteer coordinator, Louise, is on the patio today and would like to talk to you about how volunteering can be fun. Stop by and say hi. Unity Connection class is this next Sunday afternoon. The class is an inspiring way to meet people at Unity. This one-time class focuses on discovering the meaning of our focus for this year, which is compassion. On the third Sunday, join members of our spiritual community as they share their experience of journeying to Salt Lake City, where they joined 10,000 people from over 100 different religions. I would like now to invite Reverend David to the platform.
I want to share with you about something we're doing a little different. Our spiritual classes have started and are ongoing, but we wanted to add a special class in there. And it starts today at 1:30 right here. And what happened was we realized that the people that never get to attend classes are parents. And the reason is obvious, so we've decided we were going to have some classes here on Sunday. I wanted to return to focus on the very powerful spiritual laws through which we create our lives, how to attune to that and to focus in particular on that experience to expand the abundance and the goodness that we let into our lives. So we're going to do that today, and for those in the class, there's lunch prepared so that you can't get a chance to eat and join us, and I think that'll be up on the second floor there in the education building. So I look forward to taking a journey into abundance and those beautiful, powerful spiritual laws.
Activities online or in today's bulletin. Until you hear the gong, please take a short moment to greet the people immediately about you.
I'm gonna lay down my burdens down by the riverside, down by the riverside, down by the riverside. Gonna lay down my burden down by the riverside. Study war no more. I ain't gonna study war no more. Ain't gonna study war no more. Ain't gonna study war no more. Gonna study war no more. Ain't gonna study war no more. Ain't gonna study war no more. I'm gonna gonna lay down my sword and shield down by the riverside, down by the riverside, down by the river. I'm gonna lay down my sword and shield down by the riverside. Ain't gonna study war no more. I ain't gonna study war no more. 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 I'm gonna put on my long white robe down by the riverside, down by the riverside, down by the riverside. I'm gonna put on my long white robe down by the riverside and study war no more. Ain't gonna study war no more. Ain't gonna study war no more. Ain't gonna study. Ain't gonna study war no more. Gonna study war no more. Ain't gonna study war no more. Ain't gonna study war no more. I'm gonna hold hands with my neighbors down by the riverside, down by the riverside, down by the riverside. I'm gonna hold hands with my neighbors down by the riverside and study war no more. Ain't gonna 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 study war no more. Oh, I am a stranger here, journeying through this shadowland, dreaming dreams like any woman, hand in hand a pilgrim seeking shelter from fears, hand in hand a journey of undetermined years. We face the shadow of death in a valley of tears, valley of. Oh, I seek a shepherding hand to guide and watch over me. This stranger in a stranger land, hand in hand a pilgrim seeking shelter from fears, hand in hand a journey of undetermined years. Restore my soul and lead me down this path I can't see. Restore me. Oh, I flee my enemies, those ghosts of the past who haunt me. A shepherd leads me through that valley, hand in hand through that dark, shadowy land, hand in hand, fearless of the evils in man. Truly, thy rod and thy staff do bring comfort to me. Comfort me. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, I am a pilgrim here. A table is set before me in front of these howling enemies. Hand in hand, my cup runneth over. It seems hand in hand, goodness and mercy follow me. Truly, I'll sit at this table that's set before me and sup with thee. Oh, 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 oh,
Thank you, Cole. All right. So, if God is really love, you open to more love? Okay, okay. And all right to kind of expand and open, let more of that into your life? And it's all right if it shows up as money? Okay, all right if it shows up as healthy in the body? And okay, all right if it shows up as people that love you and things work there? Okay, just check it. I didn't want to waste my time. Okay, so one of the things that connected me with unity was some years ago when I discovered that Charles Fillmore and Unity had taught how we create through these spiritual laws, that they really are the instruments through which we bring forth our lives. And that the more powerfully we attune to those, the more consciously we use them or take a step that puts us into alignment with that connection that it calls us towards. Because every spiritual law is, in effect, a way of connecting with that divine presence and opening to it. And we can use it in ways that also close that off as well. But when we get that view into how the law works, it just has made a huge difference in my world. I got to catch a glimpse of one of those moments when someone stepped into an experience of the law being used to open them to something that they had no conception of. Man, Joel Hartman is his name. And Joel was a homeless man in Atlanta. And you can imagine that's a hard life. And Joe had kind of the rounds that he made, and one of them was to go through the trash of the Omni Hotel in Atlanta. And Omni Hotel is a big, high-end facility there. And so Joel was going through the trash looking for things that he could sell. And he came across someone's wallet. Now, when you're looking for things to sell, that's a pretty good deal. Okay. But what happened when he took the wallet? Joel thought about that person and, figured, well, he was probably staying there in the hotel. And, maybe the wallet fell in the trash basket or something and got hauled out. And here's this person away from home, without their money, without their ID, without the things that they need. So Joe took the wallet and went around to the front of the hotel and went in up to the desk there and gave the wallet and said that he'd been going through their trash, which isn't usually the way you introduce yourself to a hotel. But like I said, he was going through the trash, and he found this wallet, and he thought, the person might need it. So the person there at the counter goes and tells the manager, and the manager comes out. And the manager was deeply impacted that this man would do this. It's not our normal perception of someone who's homeless. And so the manager wanted to acknowledge how much they valued that from Joel. So they put him up in the hotel for a couple nights. Okay, that was a high-end hotel, and it had a spa, and they took really good care of him. Okay, but being a business, they always, even when they're being generous, they want to profit from generosity. So, they let the press know. And Joel's family became aware of Joel, and they had been looking for a number of years to try and find him. And the result of that was not only were they able to take him into their world, but part of Joel's experience was some mental, emotional difficulties. And so they were able to help him get the treatment that would help take care of his world. Now that's quite a shift from being homeless and going through the trash to being in a high-end hotel and connecting with family and care. But you see, there is a principle. It is so powerful because it aligns us to the very nature of God. The nature of God is to give. There is from this divine presence a flow. And that flow is given freely and generously. It is the very nature of it. And it would flow into each of our lives, except that every now and then we have things that kind of slow it down. And obviously Joel's had slowed that down. Now what we understand in the spiritual law of mind action, thoughts and feelings create after their kind. Okay, so when we look at Joel's life, we realize there were self-perceptions there. There were thoughts and feelings that had created a very difficult situation, a very limited situation for him. But then there's another law, and it's like begets like. And that moves us from the internal, the thoughts and feelings, into the actions that we take. For an action creates a like response. And instead of this being the experience, his experience became one of giving. It was a response of compassion to someone he didn't even know. But that change changed what was manifesting in his life. And so we learn how to work with these beautiful laws, to open up that flow and let it move in and touch our world. The great teacher of the law has always been to me Jesus. And in the experience of his feeding of the 5,000, and there are quite a number of experiences where he feeds multitudes. But in this one from the Gospel of Matthew, which is a very simple version of it. But what I see there is I see this being who is symbolic of this spiritual potential within us, the spiritual presence and power showing us as a spiritual being how we use and work with these laws. And so the story in Matthew goes, as evening approached, the disciples came to him and said, "This is a remote place, and it's already getting late. Send the crowds away so they can go to the villages and buy themselves some food." Jesus replied, "They do not need to go away. You give them something to eat." One of the disciples, Andrew, Simon Peter's brother, spoke up, "Here is a boy with 5 small barley loaves and 2 small fish. But how far will that go among so many? Bring them here to me," he said. And he directed the people to sit down on the grass. Taking the 5 loaves and 2 fish, and looking up to heaven, he gave thanks and broke the loaves. Then he gave them to the disciples, and the disciples gave them to the people. And they all ate and were satisfied. And the disciples picked up 12 basketfuls of broken pieces that were left over. The number of those who ate were about 5,000 men, besides women and children. Now, the first expression of that principle, that beautiful, powerful principle of giving, comes from the boy. Okay, here's a boy that gives everything he's got to eat. Now, I love that because the boy is symbolic of that growing self in us. Okay, that part of this young soul, wherever it is on its journey, that wants to discover, that wants to learn, that wants to connect and find out what life is about. And so here the boy is in relationship to Jesus. Jesus symbolic of that full power of the spiritual self within us. And so the boy gives. And of course, at that point, what happens is we have set that spiritual law like begets like. So what's given means that more will return. Give and it will be given unto you. Another teaching of Jesus. So he gives, and then Jesus takes this, and then he looks up to heaven and gives thanks. The picture of knowing the source from which it all comes. That is where the power is. That is where the multiplication happens. Because we've gone from limited to unlimited. We've gone to unlimited power and presence. And then it can be sent into expression and manifestation. So there comes this beautiful understanding of how we open to this goodness, whatever the form of goodness that we look for. We turn to that source and we acknowledge that all that we receive is from there. In that acknowledgement, we attune beyond the limited experiences of our mind and touch that greater, that unlimited. In practicing these principles, one of the gifts that we get here is the opportunity to do that and to see, okay, as we go through our learning and growing, how do we practice these principles? And this last month in our board meeting, we were looking at a very substantial shortfall in our finances. And of course, the question comes up, what do you do about that? Well, the natural thing to do is less. That's not the principle. The principle is to give. It's giving that causes expansion, not fear and not holding back. So we had to look around and say, how do we do that? Well, Sheila and I have been on a spiritual ride for a while, and we understand how to expand that consciousness, because in our growth we've had to do it. So we both made that commitment to say, okay, what we'll do is we will double the tithe that we each give. Now, what we know, because we've been on that journey, is that always stretches us a little bit spiritually. Going 10 for 20%, that'll kick your awareness in gear. Okay? Also remember the last time it happened, and it opened your abundance tremendously. So, again, it forces one to look at where the source is. Is it this, or is it that? And the board members joined us and joined in and made each in their own way their commitment to expand that, because what happens is when we're in constriction, when we're in that limited flow, whether that limited flow is coming in a physical experience in the body, or whether it's coming in our relationships, or in the limit on our creativity, there's a potential there to expand into that which is greater and to take on the fears that we've been serving. And so stepping forward and doing that, and what I've found is in this experience, this stepping into giving, stepping into greater flow, it creates a consciousness. And the consciousness it creates is generosity. I had a wonderful friend. A man served on a board of trustees with me, not a church board, but one related to Unity. And over the meetings, over the years, we became close friends. And we had that opportunity to really talk and share about our lives. Now, this man was a very wealthy businessman. And he shared with me how early in his life, he was just in that point of struggle. Nothing was working. He was an intelligent man, and yet nothing would unfold for him, and he just felt blocked. And it was at that point that he ran across Charles Fillmore, Unity's co-founder's teachings on prosperity. And what he realized when he had always had a real spiritual connection. But when he ran into the teaching on tithing, on the giving of the first tenth in acknowledgement of the spiritual support and love of the divine. And so he realized that was a real way of connection to him, that it grounded him, that it became very, very real. And so he took it on, and things began to change for him. But as he worked with tithing, what he began to understand was that there was something much deeper that he was working with. It was the consciousness of generosity. Because if he looked and saw that source as unlimited, then it wasn't just about that 10%. It was about that he could give from that unlimited source. He could become a channel for it. So then beyond there, he realized that in order to really grow, he had to practice becoming generous. And so as a young person, he began doing that. He began taking the opportunities in his life to do that. And at the time that I met him, he was not only a very wealthy man, but he shared with me his real wealth, which was a beautiful family that surrounded him and he was connected with, and the relationship with his with his wife and his health, and just the things he'd gotten to create and do in his life were so fulfilling. But I saw a beautiful attunement there. And I also got to see what was his natural response after years of generosity. In one of our meetings, at the beginning, he announced it was to be his last meeting with the board. He needed to resign because of some family commitments that he was going to make. So it was our last meeting. But the real experience for me came after that first day when he was sitting next to the CEO, and he turns to him and says, "How many employees do you have?" CEO said, "Oh, about 35. He said, "You know what? I'd just like to just say thank you. They work so hard." He said, "Would you do me a favor and tomorrow morning have envelopes with just their names on them so I could say thank you?" And CEO said, "Sure, I'd be glad to do that." So the next morning I sat down, and the man had gone to the bank during the night, and in every envelope put $1,000 and said, "You don't need to let them know where this came from. Just tell them that they're appreciated." Okay? Generosity. It's the natural response. When we step into it, we step into a greater spiritual awareness. You know, you didn't just come here for you. Now, your spiritual being came here to grow, and it certainly did a bit of that, hadn't it? Okay, but that's not the only reason you came here. In this time and in this world, to know who you really are, to have this connection to infinite abundance, to have this mind that is guided by the highest, this effective, powerful intelligence that is God. Wow. You came to play in the big league, to help life happen at a better level. And that requires generosity. Because when we're willing to step into that, to align with these spiritual principles and laws, God's goodness flows through you. I mean, that's what happened to my friend, wasn't it? You know, that's what happened to that homeless man. Here was care for this person who was staying there at the hotel, going through his hands. And it happens through you all the time. You are that instrument of blessing to those around you. You're that presence of peace and love and abundance and care. And that expands and grows. And with it, our awareness of this beautiful divine love. God's goodness flows through me. Join me. God's goodness flows through me. Now feel how that's true. Right this moment, whatever you're doing, it's true. In your world, it's true. Again, God's goodness flows through me. Now feel its potential. You are a divine instrument here to bless this world. And you know that. Again, God's goodness flows through me. Are you open to where your goodness can bless? To be that divine instrument, to be that blessing? Once again, God's goodness flows through me. And you know what? It becomes so natural when I looked at, and saw my friend's response. And I thought, well, that's a response not of somebody that got wealth and decided to get generous, but somebody that got generous and got wealth. There's a difference. Because it was the natural response. I remember hearing the experience of Mahatma Gandhi on as he was traveling through India, he got on a train, and just as it was leaving, and his shoe came off. So his shoe falls back there, and immediately he turns around, takes off the other shoe, and throws it out the door. And the people went and turned around and said, "What'd you do that for?" And he said, "Well, the guy that finds that shoe, it's no use if he doesn't have the other one." But that was his response. Something's happened in life. It's my chance to care. It's my chance to bless. Because he knew that source. I always loved his statement when people wanted to reflect on his having nothing. I think he had a watch and his clothes and a walking stick. And he said, "It cost people so much money to keep me in my simplicity." And he was true. There was abundance flowed through everything that he did because he knew that source and he let it flow through him. In this time, out of compassion for the world that we see around us, isn't it time to go to another level? To live from a greater place of abundance and love and peace and generosity. Now, I know that you do. And for that, I am grateful. Bless you.
Ain't got no trouble in my life, no foolish dream to make me cry. I'm never frightened or worried. I know I'll always get by. I heat up, I cool down, When something gets in my way, I go around it. Don't let life get me down.
Don't let it get me down.
I'm gonna take it just the way that I found it. I got the music in me, I got the spirit in me, I got the spirit in me. I got the spirit in me, I got the spirit in me, I got the spirit in me.
They say that life is a circle. That ain't the way that I found it. I'm gonna move in a straight line, keeping my feet firmly on the ground. I heat up,
I
cool down,
I got love in my heart, so I share it. Don't let life get me down.
don't let it get me down.
I got a smile in my soul, so I wear it. Whoa, I got the spirit in me. I got the spirit in me. I got the spirit in me. Everybody. I got the spirit in me. I got the spirit in me. I got the spirit in me. I heat up, I cool down, I've got words in my head, so I say them. Don't let life get me down.
Don't let it get me
Patch a
down.
hole in my blues, I play them. Ooh, I feel joyful, I feel good. Gonna shout it all over my neighborhood. Gonna fly like a bird on a wing. Take a hold of my blues and honey, say, I got the spirit in me. I got the spirit in me. I got the spirit in me. Oh, I got the spirit in me. I got the spirit in me. I got the spirit in me. Yeah. Oh, I got the spirit in me. I got the spirit in me.
I got the spirit,
I got the spirit in me. Woo! I got the spirit in me. I got the spirit in me. I got the spirit in me. One more time now. I got the spirit in me. I got the spirit in me. I got the spirit in me. I got the spirit in me.
I got the spirit in me. I got the spirit in me.
All right, enfold these beautiful beings in your hearts and let's share our blessing together. Children, you are loved, special, and important. The light of God shines through you. Let's take hands and share together our prayer of protection. Together, the light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And our peace song.
there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God ever present, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. Take each moment and live each moment, peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
You are the love and the light and the peace in the earth right now. So let it shine and have fun.
Ain't got no trouble in my life, no foolish dream to make me cry. I'm never frightened or worried, I know I'll always get by. I heat up, I cool down, When something gets in my way, I go around it. Don't let life get me down.
Don't let it get me down.
I'm gonna take it just the way that I found it. I got the spirit in me. 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 I got the spirit in me.
They say that life is a circle. That ain't the way that I found it. I'm gonna move in a straight line. Keep my feet on the ground. I heat up, I cool down. I got love in my heart, so I'll share it. Don't let life get me down. Don't let it get me down.
I got a smile in my soul, so I'll wear it. Ooh, I got the spirit in me. 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 I got the spirit in me.